Welcome, amazing agents and investors from across the country. Today is Wednesday, March 11th, 2020, and this is role play call number 52. We've got 5 in the queue, so it's going to be a busy day. Chad, anything you want to say before we get started?
No, I don't think so. Just if this is your first role play call, this is really not the place to ask questions about direct mail or other marketing or websites. We try to keep this, as a role play, so we're here to work on sales language. And what's working is just as important as what's not working. So if you find that you've had success on the phones, applaud the abundance mindset and sharing here. We try to lead by example in that department. But if you have something you haven't heard us talk about that's been working for you, please step up and share it with us. And then each of these calls, if you're new to this, this will be the 52nd hour of archived calls that we have. If you go to alltheleads.com/CCVA for conference call video archive, or look in the menu on the website, you can find an archive that's laid out like a calendar. So we'll have at least one role play call each month, and 3 to 5 mastermind calls depending on the calendar that month. So I think that's all I have, Jim.
All right. Well, we have a frequent flyer up first. Caller ID. We love you. I always love your caller ID. So you're up first today.
Hey, how are you guys, everybody?
Hey, what's your name again?
John Michaelides. John.
Sean, of course.
No,
unmistakable.
John. J-O-H-N.
John Michaelides. Okay, I'll remember that. I just know you as we love you.
Okay, keeping it quick. Thank you. So I've got my second, got 2 counties, got my second list, been through 2 rounds of calls with the first list and 1 round of calls on the second list. My experience is about 80% no contacts thus far. Of the remaining 20%, probably 75%, they're actually already finished. Thank you very much, but we sold the house 3 months ago, kind of thing. Of the 25% of that left, 5% of the total, here's the role play. So if we don't have real estate, that's easy. If the property's already sold, that's easy. If it's listed for sale right now with a broker, I want to hear what you say, if anything. And then the real issue is, oh yeah, there is real estate, and the lady at church is going to list it. The next door neighbor is a realtor that we've known for 40 years, and he's going to list it. I've had that happen a couple times, and I've been a little timid about being pushy, but I realize that's got to stop. So I want to know how you handle that issue, those issues.
Okay. What do you want to do first?
Well, since I want to hear what you say, I should be calling you, correct? Or you should be calling me, excuse me.
Well, in the interest of time, I'm going to skip the intro, and I'm going to jump where both of those objections are going to come up. Where those objections will come up is when I go to set the appointment. So John it sounds like we could help you guys out. It starts with just us meeting at the house and kind of taking a look at your overall situation. I've got a spot on Friday at 3. Would that be a good time to meet up for a few minutes?
Yes.
Okay, great.
You caught me off guard.
No objection.
No, you weren't even saying no.
I'm on my game today.
No.
Damn, Chad, you are good. You are good. You just overcame that with the tone of your voice. Good job.
Well, no need you coming by. The next door neighbor's been a realtor for 57 years, and we already talked to him about it, and he's going to list it as soon as we finish cleaning it out.
Okay. And do you guys have a good, do you need help with the clean out, or are you tackling that on your own? Do you need anyone with trucks or clean out crews? Tell me about that.
Yeah, like I told you, we're already down the road in the process a bit. So yeah, we got all that under control.
Yeah. The reason I ask, I see a lot of families initiate that job and never finish it. And a lot of times when our phone rings, it's because people realize they didn't know what they didn't know, and it's prolonged. It's gone on for weeks or months, and they still don't know how they're going to get off. They didn't realize in the beginning that they were going to have to take off work, sacrifice multiple weekends, rent trucks or borrow trucks, and deal with all these logistical things they hadn't thought of. So we try to be thorough when we talk to families and make sure their needs are met. And having gone through this week after week after week, and I'm assuming you probably don't do this every week, right?
Right.
So a lot of the times people find that we can provide more value than they expected because of problems they haven't yet realized they have. So, but it sounds like you're pretty firm and you've got it handled and you're not going to need any help with the personal property. Is that fair?
I think that's fair.
Okay. And have you guys, discussed the listing terms and price, and you're comfortable with the way he handles everything? I mean, tell me where you're at. Brokerage is one of the things we do. We do many different things. If you decide to go with someone you already know and trust, that's fine. I will say this: at a minimum, we want to be part of the team. As I've told you earlier, we do take a team approach. And even if that means another broker or realtor is involved, what we find is a good 99.9% of real estate professionals don't have the skill set that the people on our team have. So they're going to say goodbye at the closing table, shake your hand, maybe give you a closing gift, and that'll be it. Where with our team, we're going to show you how to protect your family from going through this ever again. You may not know this yet, but you will pay 5% of the gross amount of the estate in fees, and it's going to take months. And I can't think of any reason your family should ever have to go through that again in the future. Can you?
No.
And is that something your neighbor discussed with you?
No.
Do I sound surprised?
No.
So I'm being a bit facetious, John, but I think a lot of people expect us to be typical, and we're just not. So we have put together a team of people that can help. We focus on people and situation. Oftentimes the biggest problem for those people and what causes the most stress in the situation is real estate. So we've become real estate specialists, but it's not just about brokering a deal. So even if you do see more value in what your neighbor can provide you from a real estate standpoint, we're still interested in making sure you never go through this again. Has he talked to you about how you can double the money that you get in the distribution? Has he shown you ways to double that in the next 4 years, even in the current economic environment?
No.
Is that something you're interested in?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the deal. I'm going to do 2 to 3 hours of homework. You're going to have a probate professional that is also a real estate professional come meet with you, have a man-to-man conversation, and I will literally hand you my plan. If you think your neighbor can provide more value to your family than I can and can reduce the stress level and maximize the equity level better than I can, then you can take my plan and hopefully he can execute it. But that's your only risk, is you get my time and my commitment for free if you don't hire me. I'm confident in saying that because when we meet, I'm going to show you 4 or 5 other things that you might not have thought of that he probably isn't aware of either. And that's the hidden value in our service that's the hardest thing to convey. But if I can meet with you at the house and I can understand your goals, your challenges, and your overall situation, I can very quickly put the puzzle together, and we can drastically shorten the time frame and the amount of effort and stress that you'll have to put into this going forward. So is Friday from 3 to 3:45 a good time to have that conversation?
Okay, that was awesome. Yes.
Okay, so what I want to underscore, I did not confront you about having another agent. I did not drag him through the mud. I, in a roundabout way, showed you what you didn't know.
I'm going to listen to that recording 50 times, 100 times. That was gold. Question, is your plan simply the net sheet with the 3 different listing options, or what is your plan that you're going to come with and hand me on Friday?
Well, you probably aren't. I didn't take you into price, which I'm not going to do on the phone. I mean, so once I set the appointment, then I would feel you out on price expectation. I would, continue my normal progression. So I would find out. So I don't have enough information to answer thoroughly right now. I'm assuming that you're not that. Most people don't have unrealistic price expectations. I usually reserve the net sheet for those conversations, like when it's unclear. And without going through the whole role play, I don't know everything about your situation, but for the most part, I don't have to use that very much. What I'm most interested in now is becoming a stark contrast to your neighbor. So I was pulling out some more advanced things that normally we wouldn't talk about in the very front end of this, because I needed a hook. You're already telling me, dude, you're done. So I needed to get a hook in you so I could get you to engage with me, and that's why I went with those things. So I'm going to come to that.
It sounds to me like you're going to be introducing him to, because you made a big point of your family should never have to go through this again. Do you agree? So it sounds to me like, and I'm going to hand you a plan, and whether you use us or not, so it sounds to me like you're going to introduce them to estate planning strategies totally off of real estate. So in that scenario that you used, what would you hand them at the meeting on Friday?
Nothing.
Other than the net sheet, nothing.
My right hand.
Okay.
So if you want that from me, you have to engage with me as a business person, and if you that comes at the end of that process. So if you want to choose me as a business person to do business with, here's the blue pen.
So after they sign a listing with you and they decide, I really don't want to go with the neighbor, then you will be willing to introduce them to whomever. And that doesn't apply, by the way.
So imagine a timeline. So real estate's going to fall more toward the beginning of that timeline. Getting living trust in place and investing inheritance funds will be obviously at the end of that timeline. So what I offered to give you was my complete and total real estate strategy. I'll give you that for free. You can hand it to your guy, and hopefully he can execute. What I didn't offer to give you was my whole business, my whole service. And if you want that, then you're going to understand. I won't have to say it, because you're going to look in my eyes and you're going to realize I'm not handing you brochures or lists of people's names and everything. If you want that, there's one way. You look me in the eye and you shake my hand, and that's how you get that. If you want this level of service, step up. I have. And so there's no list, there's no package, there's no collateral. That is a relationship with Chad is what will get you that level of service. And to have a relationship with Chad, it starts right here. Here's the blue pen.
That is awesome, man. Okay, I'm going to let you go because there's other people, but that's awesome. Well worth the price of the free call. Thank you.
I love your infectious energy. Thank you, sir. Next up is another familiar name, Lou Levine. You're up next. Phone number ending in 3554.
Yeah, I just have a very quick question. I'm mostly listening. How do you, number one, the advice that you're giving these people, besides probate and estate planning, don't you need a license for that? Number one. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't need a license to tell you you should have a living trust.
Okay.
I'm not going to put it together. I'm going to turn you into an A+ referral, and within the next, within hours of us, you telling me, yes, I want to move forward, within hours, my estate planning attorney will call you and initiate.
Okay. So you have to hook up with an attorney in your area. How do I learn? This is my first call. How do I learn more about the actual probate stuff. You know, I know what probate is, but I don't know all the details.
By the way, Chad, Lou signed up about an hour ago, so he hasn't been through the fast track training or anything. So,
okay.
You know, that'd be a good place to start.
Sure. Yeah. So when you first log into your subscriber portal, Lou, you'll see probate fast track training. That's going to give you a high-level introduction to this. At that point, you can decide whether you want to dig in yourself and self-educate and go deeper, or the easy button is probate mastery. And probate mastery.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear that last sentence.
Probate mastery is our advanced training, and not everybody wants that, but if it's $250 for 12 to 15 hours of content, where I basically take, it's drinking from a fire hose, but I teach everything that I've ever done and everything that I know. I try to pack into the course, and it's an interactive course, so you'll have an hour to 2 hours of instruction, followed by an hour to 2 hours of Q&A and engagement with the class. The March class is not scheduled yet, but if you sign up now, we can send you the February recordings. And it's in three consecutive days. We do 3 sessions. So session 1 is really going to focus on what you're looking for now. What is probate? How does it work? What is the timeline? What does it look like in my specific county? What does it look like across the nation? And why is it such an important opportunity for a real estate professional? Session 2 is going to drill down and say, okay, now that we understand what the kind of the national opportunity is, what can we do in our own community and our own business to attract the people that we're trying to help? Like, so it's very strategy driven. Like, how do you build your team? How do you find those people? How do you build those relationships? How do you handle it? What services can you offer? What is this? You know, we offer at least 3 dozen different value points from a marketing standpoint to start the conversation. So we'll show you how to do that. And then in session 3, we take about 4 hours and literally just pull apart this initial conversation and the face-to-face appointment. And so mastery will fill in a lot of those blind spots for you if you want to really take this to, you know, if you want to take this seriously and get started quickly. Otherwise, you have hundreds, like almost 700 hours of archived calls, both the role play call that we're on and the mastermind call that we'll do tomorrow. If you go through the call archive, you can listen for 700 hours. You can learn as much as possible about this.
700 hours online on your website. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And just really quick, mastermind tomorrow. What is that? Just exchanging ideas?
Yeah, it's so there we exchange ideas, we troubleshoot deals, like we transaction engineer, we answer marketing questions, just the more, you know, Q&A format rather than a role play.
All right, perfect. Next up is phone number ending in 4079. You're up next.
Good afternoon. This is Rhonda Burton, and I'm from the North Georgia Mountains. And I was making my phone calls this morning on my leads, and I ran into a situation that I was kind of taken aback. It was a murder-suicide situation, and apparently it was the son who found the mother and father. The father shot the mother and then turned the gun on himself. And I found this out after I hung up the phone and Googled the situation because I looked at, there were 2 records that were the same, and I did some research and I found out what had happened. So I don't know where to go with this. Unfortunately / fortunately, I have experience in this area dealing with something like this. So I don't know how to reach out to this fella. I did leave
you want to make
a
it,
voicemail.
Rhonda, did you want to make it in the form of a role play, if possible? I mean, who are you
Sure.
going to be calling? Yeah, who are you going to be calling?
I think it's a son. There was a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old, and I clearly spoke to the 20-year-old, I think, just for a moment.
So very difficult call. So you're reaching out to the 20-year-old son who's the executor that just lost his parents, right? Wow, Chad,
yeah.
that's a challenging one. We had a similar one like this about a year ago where our agent was dealing with a lady who was one of the heirs, but her brother was in prison for murdering her parents, and he was the executor. And you don't come into which is that. Yeah, that's even worse. But so you don't come. The good news, people on the call, you could probably do this your whole career, and you're never going to come across this. But it might be a good role play. We'll challenge Chad with this one. So you want to call Chad, or Chad, you're calling her, right?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I want to clarify. You have spoken to the 20-year-old, right?
Yeah, but it was. I called him this morning, and it was very, very brief. He just said, I've gotten a lot of phone calls. Can you please call me later? And I said, absolutely. What would be a good time? And he said, call me about 12 or 12:30. And then when I went to the next, record, I saw it was the same name. And then that's when I did some research, and I pulled up the news article, and I discovered what had happened. I thought, my God, this poor boy. So I actually did call back at noon, and I got a voicemail as expected, and I did leave him a voicemail and told him that I was very sensitive to his situation, and, briefly explained what I did. If there's any way I can help you, I do have experience in this area. I've gone through a similar thing, and if there's any way I can help you, please call me, and I think I can make this whole process easier on you. And I mean, okay. I don't know what else to say.
And would you rather hear how I approach it, or would you rather me be the 20-year-old?
I want to hear how you approach it, and I'll be the 20-year-old.
Okay, give me one little piece of information. You said you've been through this. Like, have you've cleaned up these situations before? You have those resources?
No, with my family, and I've had it cleaned up, yes.
Okay. All right, so we're going to make you the daughter, not the son, so it's less awkward. And okay. Your name was Rhonda, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, I'm trying to reach Rhonda.
This is she.
Hey, Rhonda, I thought I recognized your voice. We spoke earlier this morning, and you asked me to call you back this afternoon. Do you remember? I know you said you'd gotten a lot of calls. Listen, I know that you said you're getting a lot of calls, and I know that I can't imagine how you must. Actually, I can't imagine how you feel right now.
No,
unfortunately,
unless you've been through it, you cannot imagine how I feel. Why are you calling me again?
Well, Rhonda, that's why I'm calling you. You just interrupted me. So, would you like some help from somebody who actually cares about your situation and has been through it and might be able to give you some guidance and comfort, or do you just want me to call you back when you're less angry?
I'm willing to listen.
Okay. So you're 20. I was 34 when I went through this. This happened in my family. And very fortunately, I'm the only person I've ever met that has had to deal with this before I saw this morning. When I called you this morning, I didn't realize your situation. When I looked at the other people that I had gotten, the other people on the other deceased on the list that we have gotten from the probate clerk, I very quickly realized your situation. So first of all, I feel for you because I've been there. Second of all, I'm calling with the purest of intentions to help you through this because I know what it felt like and I know how hard it was. So can we just agree that we're just to get to a fresh start, this is a different phone call than any of the others you've gotten?
Yes. Okay.
What can I do to help you the most right now?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know where to start.
Well, I'm gonna share my experience with you because I realize this is a lot. Like this is a major trauma in your life. I imagine for us it certainly was, and it, my family basically did nothing for weeks, and those weeks started to turn into months, and we just didn't want to face it. We didn't have anyone offering to help us, and that's the reason I'm calling back today. I don't want you to have to do something you don't want to. I'm betting, and I'm making some assumptions here, you probably never want to go into that house again, right?
Never, as long as I live. We haven't been back in there.
Right. So there's a lot of things we can do to help. We're obviously real estate professionals because that's the biggest challenge for most families. Your challenge is more unique than most. And I don't ever want to have you come over there again. Like, I would imagine that you want to keep this at arm's length. So we have a team of people here in the community, not built specifically for your situation, but for most, people who lose family members. But as part of that, we have friends in the police department, and we have, cleanup crews that are bio-certified. We can take care of everything. So we can get the most amount of money out of the personal property. We can clean the property up. Because of the laws in our state, we don't have to disclose what happened there. We just need to remediate what happened there and make sure that you and your brother can get as much as possible so you can move forward. And I'm assuming that's important to you, is it not? That we maximize every dollar?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys, it's a pretty bad situation you guys are put in, and the average funeral right now, or the low end of a funeral cost is about $15,000 per burial. Do you have the funds, or was there money in the account to cover the funeral expenses?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
Okay. So we've seen this situation before where we've actually had to sell the personal property because we can get that done fairly quickly. We can generate money to help handle burial arrangements, and then we can reinvest some back into the real estate to get it into the sellable condition. And then it's most important that we maximize every single dollar of equity we can. And once that's done, we'll show you guys your options for how you can reinvest that and grow it, since you're not going to have your parents to, that's not going to be growing as generational wealth. We have resources. You don't have to invest in anything we suggest, but we want to show you options. So anything from more conventional retirement accounts all the way to more more aggressive growth, like lending money to our real estate investors who will pay you almost 5 times a normal interest rate, so you can double your money about every 4 years. So because you're young.
I don't understand these things. Can you just deal with my attorney on this?
No, I actually would prefer to deal with you because respectfully, your attorney's needs are met and yours aren't. And your attorney's going to deal with the legal aspects. I'm going to deal with the people aspects. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
sure.
what matters to me is you and your brother and making the most out of what's left, because you've lost a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, we don't have any other family.
So I'm not trying to throw your attorney under the bus. He gets paid a fee for the bigger the dollar amount can be, the more money he makes, and when that's done, he's done. I'm here to tell you I understand how you feel. I've been in this situation, and I can help you over the next decade, not the next 4 months. I can help you and your brother push through some hard decisions. I can shield you from what you don't want to be part of, but I can help you push through some hard decisions that literally will change your life. It will be outcome A versus outcome B. If you can stay engaged with me, if you can stay strong, I'll lead. I just need you to stay engaged and not defer to your attorney and shut down on me. Can we agree that I can help you if you allow me to?
Well, let's meet first. I'll see. Can you help me find a place to go?
Sure.
I don't really have a place to go.
Yep, that'll be one of the first things. We have. Do you have an income right now?
No, we don't have
Okay.
an income.
All right. The next phone call you're going to get, and please answer this. If you see a call from the Roanoke Valley Housing Authority, you're going to get a call from Pauline. Pauline is going to let you know that you qualify for a HUD voucher and that she has found you an apartment for you and your brother. Are you your brother's guardian now? Have you taken those steps?
I think so. I think that's
Okay.
what's happening.
The next call you're going to get is from Paula. Paula is with the Roanoke City Social Services. If you don't have guardianship over your brother, you need to, or someone else from the family needs to. Paula's going to make sure that.
Okay. I think we're working with a social worker already. Okay.
Okay, great. Well, that's good. Then if you think or you have a social worker that has a case for you.
I don't know. I think so. Somebody came and got us, and we're in a shelter.
Okay, then you obviously have a caseworker. So I'll try to find out who that is and have a conversation with them so they understand that we're going to be helping you guys too. But you'll hear from the housing authority. I'm going to call them right now and make sure that they do see if we can find a place for you guys. It sounds like you don't want to be in a shelter. You guys want to come. Do you and your brother want to get a place on your own?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We do.
So we'll deal with that first. Once I've spoken to them, I'll call you back. Can you do me a favor and save my number in your phone?
Yes, I will.
So I'll talk to them in the next couple of hours. I'll call you back. And from there, what I'd like to do is help you find suitable living so you can settle in and start processing. The next step is I want to sit down with you and your brother and make sure you're comfortable with the plan and that we meet all your goals. But we're going to go toward this problem. You don't have to. You can stay where you are and process this. We're going to go toward it because it's important. The longer the house sits, the less valuable it becomes. So we want to be kind of aggressive at doing this because we know that it's not important. The actual house is not important to you anymore. What is going to be important, especially important to you and your brother, is making sure that we can get you every dollar you can find right now. So we'll approach the housing first, then we'll meet in person. We'll talk about what the goals are, what's important to you guys. We'll go over to the house, and from there, if you don't even want to know what we're doing, that's fine. All I need you to know is I will do what I say, and you've got my word that this will be done in a professional manner as quickly as possible, and you'll walk away with the most amount of money possible.
Okay, that sounds good.
So I'll call you. I'm going to call you back at 4:30 this afternoon. And if you save my number, I know you're getting other phone calls, but please pick up my call when I call, okay?
Okay, I definitely will. You're the only person actually that I've talked to that I want to talk to now. So thank you for calling me.
Thank you for taking my call and allowing us to help you. We can talk more. You can ask me anything. I'm an open book. It took me time to process what happened when it happened in my family, and I'm happy to help you any way I can, even if it's just someone to talk to. If you need to talk, pick up the phone and call. Don't go to a bottle. Don't go to the street corner and look for drugs. Like, I'm here to help you guys get through this and get through it as healthily and quickly as possible. And between me and my network, even if it comes down to employment, I have, business people who can use interns who then very quickly turn that into a long-term career, job prospects. Even in other markets, if you guys just don't want to be in Roanoke and you want to get out of state or get out of town, I can help you with that stuff. But just make me a promise that you'll pick up the phone before you do anything else.
I will.
All right. I'll talk to you at 4:30, okay?
Okay. Thanks, Chuck. Good gosh. That's awesome.
Rhonda, I have to ask you a question. Do you have any acting experience or background? Because, man, you sounded like a young kid that was grieving. You did an awesome job. Are you an actress?
I'm told that I could be. No, I've worked with CASA kids. I don't know if you know, kids in the system who have, have gone into the system and have been through horror. So, yeah.
Makes sense, yep.
That's what they deal with. It sounds like Chuck has too, so. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I mean, there was a whole lot of stuff in there. That was a unique one, so I thought we would take the opportunity to play it out. You guys can always listen to the recording, but just the things I want to underscore, she was shutting down on me, and you guys heard that. It was no, which was very good. Like Jim's right. Like, it's like dealing with a 20-year-old who's been through a major trauma. But I wanted to show him that he could show her that she could trust me. I wanted to show her that I had her best interest in mind. And I wanted to show her that I wasn't looking at this real estate as a paycheck for me, but more so for them. And once I got in rapport, now, just like she said, I'm the only one she wants to talk to. And I took it a step further kind of based on my own values. I know how easy it can be for a 20-year-old kid to go to alcohol or go to drugs. In that situation, I've seen it happen. So it's important to me, just based on my own personal values, I will make the sacrifice and be just an ear on the other end of the phone if that makes a difference in their life. And This one might be a lot of work just because of the circumstances. I don't, anyways, there's a whole lot of variables in there. That's exactly how I would have handled it.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. I mean, I think so. So,
Yep.
Yeah. And that's why I love being a part of this, because that's, I think we have the same value system. So that's pretty cool that you said that, because I would have said that as well. And I'll think, oh, Lord, I'm really putting my foot out there. But you know what? Who cares? That's what we're supposed to do. So thanks for that call, because that makes me feel better.
Yep.
Great job. Thanks for participating.
Don't ever feel bad for providing value and pushing people out of their comfort zone when you know they are quite possibly the biggest risk that they face. Because you're doing them a favor.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you so much, Rhonda. Appreciate it. Next up is phone number ending in 3645. You're up next.
Hey guys, my name's Richard. I am in Central Texas, and I am working my second set of leads here. I've been through Mastery actually a couple of times. I've been on these calls several times. I got to say that these two pastoral plays have been incredible. Very, very detailed. Chad, I think you're an anomaly in this industry. That's for sure. My question is this. It's pretty simple. I feel like I'm getting to the point in a lot of the leads when I actually do make contact and I'm talking with people, and we're working very hard and diligently to overcome their objections. My question is this: at what point do you just let them go and realize that you're not going to get past their objections?
When they submit.
Yeah.
So you have to use your own judgment. I mean, if we can always sharpen our axe and get better at handling objections. I mean, the best approach is just continue asking questions until they disengage or submit, quite honestly. And some of them will disengage sooner. Like some of them just won't ever see value in what you're offering, and they don't need your service. And quite honestly, we talked about this we were on the Probate Pluses and beta testing, so now we know which ones own real estate and how much that real estate's worth. Right. And the more sophisticated the family is, the more wealth they've accumulated, the more likely it is that they don't need your help, because they are proactive. They probably sold the assets 2 or 3 years ago, or quit claimed them to family members, or put family members on as tenants in the entirety with rights of survivorship, so the real estate's not even going through going through probate. So some of those people we just can't help because they don't see value in our service, because they don't need the help. They're operating at a higher level than most of the people who do need our help really badly. And you just have to use your own discretion and determine that. If you can't determine a need, then they're never going to see value in your service. And that's why I say focus on people and situation, because it very quickly shows you their needs and their blind spots. And that just draws a roadmap for you. You know exactly what to say next. Where if you lead with real estate, you're going in blindly, not understanding what their challenges and needs are. So we lead with people. So that's all I can say is, you're going to help 10% of the people on the list each month, and you're not going to help 90% of them.
I think most of the objections that I come up against are people who have already got things handled. They've got they're finished completely with probate, and not just the legal part of it, but completely finished with it. So
the way you can still extract opportunity from that is say, well, listen, I'm really glad when I talk to a family like yours. That's I actually do appreciate it, because it means you guys didn't have to go through the struggle that most families do. So I applaud you on that. Now, I'll say this, even when the families have done most everything, they think they've done everything, a lot of times a few boxes are unchecked. So if I can show you ways to protect your family in the future, are you interested in at least hearing me out?
And I do ask that question, and
then try to turn them into a referral for your estate planning company, for your registered investment advisor, your estate planning attorney, and your registered investment advisor. So you at least know they've had an opportunity to see how not to go through probate ever again, and how to wisely invest their inheritance distribution.
Okay.
And beyond that, they're pretty much taken care of.
Okay, well that answers my question. I'm just going to keep pounding on it. That's all I can do.
Yep. Thank you very much. Next up, I'm gonna pre-sell this a little bit. The guy next up is a very seasoned agent prospector, and he's been a real estate coach, and I know he's looking for a dependable, high-quality role-play partner. And there may be something else he wants, but did I pre-sell you good enough, Randy? Oh, never mind. He's up next. Sorry about that. First is phone number ending in 4342. You're up next.
Yes, hi, how you doing? You're doing a great job, man. I appreciate everything you're doing. My question is, what's the next step I need to do to get leads, and how can I partner up with someone like you?
Yeah, we have your phone number. Have you talked to one of our salespeople yet or not?
I have not.
Okay, yeah, I will have someone call you immediately after this call, and I have your phone number. What's your first name?
Stefan.
I'm sorry, say again?
Stefan, S-T-E-V-A-N, Stefan.
Okay, Stefan. One of our great salespeople will give you a call back. They're very concise. They'll just kind of walk you through in 5 minutes or less the entire program, answer your questions, and if you do want to get started, they can set you up while they're on the phone with you. I'll have one of them call you back as soon as this call's over.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, appreciate it. All right, now the guy that I already pre-sold, Randy, you're up next.
Hi, guys. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that. Except I think you said that I have been a real estate coach. I've been in real estate coaching for a few years.
Gotcha.
But I appreciate you the introduction. Thanks.
Sure.
And Chad, I've been so excited to get on the phone with you. I'm really impressed with everything you guys do on these calls and the services that you provide. So just want to be able to thank you and kind of in person here.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
All right. So
yeah, just want to today.
Yeah, just want to do a general probate prospecting call. I'll be the agent. You be the prospect. We can open to any scenario or objections.
Okay, sounds good.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, this is Randy. I'm calling for Chad.
This is Chad. Who is this?
Yeah, hi, Chad. My name's Randy. I'm a local real estate agent here in Las Vegas. The reason I'm calling is that I understand there's a probate estate.
Listen, I have gotten calls from 6 other real estate agents today. I know what you want. We've got it taken care of.
You have it taken care of. Well, fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Now, when you say it's taken care of, does that mean the legal part of the probate, or is there real estate that you may need some help with?
We have an attorney. I've bought and sold many houses in my lifetime. I don't need to pay you a commission for me to do what I need to do. I'm getting tired of these calls. Please leave me alone.
Yeah, your calls are annoying, aren't they? Believe me, I got to deal with these people every day. So I appreciate your frustration. And with that, I also heard you have a lot of experience in real estate. Good for you. So could the estate use any help with any property, or do you already have a plan for it?
Have you ever been through this?
A probate, or how do you mean by that question?
A probate. Have you ever been in a position where 20 people a day call you and just want to talk about selling a house when you've got 150 other things to worry about? Your mother is crying 20 hours out of the day. Have you been through it?
Yeah. Well, coincidentally, my mother actually passed away about 1.5 years ago. And in terms of phone calls, yes, I've dealt with a lot of sales calls in my time. So I absolutely appreciate the frustration that this time may be. The reason I'm calling is to take some of it off of your shoulders. Do you think that could be a benefit for you?
I don't know how you're going to do it. It seems like everything's on my shoulders this week.
Yeah, and sometimes it just seems overwhelming, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually feel the overwhelm and frustration in your voice. And like I said, I'm I'm here to see if there's anything I can do to help support you. Like I said, I do work with a lot of executors and administrators helping families navigate through this probate process when there's real estate involved. What kind of challenges, other than the phone calls, have you been running up against during this time?
Well, my work is closed right now, so I'm not working because of this damn coronavirus or whatever it's called. My kids are out of school. They're sick. My mother is an absolute wreck. My brothers and sisters are lazy as hell, and they live out of state. They won't help with anything. So, dude, I barely have time to fix meals for myself, much less deal with this. So I don't know, unless you're a butler and you want to come over here and put on an apron and help, can you just call me back some other time?
I can definitely call you back. And what I'm hearing is it's everything: work, kids, family. It sounds like it's just too much. So, Chad, I don't mind doing this. When it's convenient for you, I'll take a look at the house, tell you realistically how much it sells for in today's market, exactly what it is I'm doing to help a lot of folks in your situation. So when would be the best time that I could see the house or get access? Is tomorrow at 2 or is 5 o'clock better for you?
I have to be over there tomorrow to meet a guy who's going to start mowing the lawn since the grass needs done. I'll be there around, I think, 4 or 4:30 is what he said.
So you're going to be there at 4 to meet a landscaper type of guy, is that right?
Yes.
Fantastic. Would it be a benefit for you if I was to, when I meet you, put together a market study and let you know exactly what the property could sell for in today's market?
Sure. I mean,
Great.
I think we're a ways from that, but sure.
You're a ways from that. I appreciate that. And are there any other decision makers that, other than yourself, that would have an opinion on what to do with the property?
Well, my brother and sister will have their hands out when they realize I'm finally moving forward without their help. So you can bet your ass that they'll think they're decision makers when there's money involved.
Brother and sister. Okay, I'll make a note of that. Well, Chad, that sounds great. I'll meet you there tomorrow at 4. We can work with getting the landscape cleaned up, and then what else I can do is I can let you know everything else that I can do with whether it's cleaning the property or anything else having to do with real estate. Again, to take this off your shoulders. What do you think that could help?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean,
okay.
Let's be real, dude. You're a realtor. Like,
yeah.
Are you gonna mow the lawn and fix the roof and do all these other things that I have to coordinate?
Yeah, great question, and I'm glad you asked. I am a real estate agent. That's what I specialize in. And during my 16 years in real estate, the good news is I have some great vendors that can help with all of those items if it's in yours and the estate's best interest. So what I'll do, again, to make things as easy and simple as possible, is bring my list over. We'll go through exactly what you and I can agree on what may need to do for the house to make it more sellable, and then we can take the next step from there. How does that sound?
Fair enough.
Perfect. Chad, I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 4. Is this the best number to reach you if anything else comes up?
It is.
Perfect. Chad, I'll see you then.
All right. We'll break. So I'm going to apologize to you in front of everybody. I know that you opened this with a compliment, but you seem like a strong prospector, so I wanted to give you a little bit tougher example. We can go back through it, and I'll do a more typical call, but I thought it would be good for a seasoned prospector in coaching to hear what it's like to go through a tough call. So I put you on the spot. I was pretty tough on you. You did a good job. Where you can do a better job is, and I was throwing a lot of social problems at you, right? So I was showing you parts of myself. I was kind of showing you that I didn't give a shit about the real estate, and I wasn't ready to talk about it. You, being a seasoned prospector, went where I thought you would. You took it back to real estate. A couple of times you took me back to real estate. In my opinion, you're gonna connect with more people at a deeper level and get trust and rapport quicker if you can distance yourself from the real estate for just a second. So in the very beginning, you introduced yourself as a realtor. Stop doing that. You'll have better conversations. One of the first things excuse me, sorry guys, Google Voice.
Okay.
But you were very, and you wanted to go to the real estate first. And I was showing you that I had some people problems. I showed you that I was overwhelmed. I showed you that my brothers and sisters, there was some social tension there. I showed you that my mother was in a heavy grieving state. And you didn't take my objections. You let them roll off your back, and you kept me engaged. But as soon as you got me re-engaged, you would take me back to real estate. And I'm encouraging you to it's okay to push real estate into the background, because it's very easy to segue back to once you've brought my tone down to a more realistic level. So I was keeping in that negative state because you weren't helping solve my immediate problems. My immediate problems were my concern for my mother, my disdain for my brothers and sisters, and my overwhelm with the situation. And I was waiting for you to bring a solution for that, or tell me a story about how you helped somebody else through that, or use feel, felt, found. Listen, I understand how you feel. Most of the families we meet with have felt the same way in the very beginning, because it's overwhelming. And honestly, my mom died a few years ago, and I was in your position, so I understand. But what those people find is once they kind of let their guard down and realize our intent, we really can help with anything. We've got a team of people here to take on what you're trying to take on yourself. So would you agree that having 20 people to do everything you have to do makes more sense than trying to do it yourself when your brother and sister don't even want to help you, and your mom needs you? She needs you to sit and talk to her more than she does to mow the yard. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's.
So
are
you ready to?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I thought I would use you to do a little more negative role play, because sometimes we avoid those, and I thought you could stand up to it. You did a fine job. My number one piece of advice is be willing to take a step back from the real estate until you realize you've met some of their needs, and they're on having a more comfortable conversation with you. And then you can very quickly go, okay, well, listen, we dealt with a few things already. I would say at least 9 out of 10 families that we meet with, the source of their biggest problems is real estate. So let's just talk about that for a second. Is there any real estate in the estate, and do you have a plan for it? And you can easily, at any point in that conversation, you can bring that in and segue into it. But it's different because they already trust you, and they've already come down to a more positive tone in the conversation.
Man, that's such great feedback. I'm really looking forward to going back and listening to the replay of this, because you're absolutely right. I didn't, and I felt it. I mean, I didn't get in all the way in rapport, and I apologize. Part of the challenge is outside of my office, I started having a meeting and it started to get loud. So I was trying to. I was actually.
We heard that in the background. I thought you were in a restaurant or something. Yeah.
I apologize. No, that's why I had to move over to the conference room. So I apologize for that. And that kind of. What am I saying? So I rushed into the real estate when like you said, I should have stepped back for a minute and listened better, listened to what that particular prospect was really going through, and connect there. So I appreciate that you pointed that out. That's exactly why I called in to get that kind of critique. And that's a big mistake that if I'm doing that. So I can't tell, that is really helpful.
Yeah.
And Randy, go ahead, Chad.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, you're 90% there. You've got a couple little tweaks. What you need to commend yourself on is you take the blows and you come right back unscathed. Like, it's obvious you've been on the phones a lot, and you don't take an objection as a hard no and apologize for helping and rush off the phone. And that's why I kept turning the heat up on you a little bit, because I wanted to see if I could find your weakness. I wanted to see if you were going to quit on me, and you didn't. And that's one of the hardest things to teach. Language is easy to teach. Like, all you need to do is take a deep breath and get yourself in an empathetic mindset, and you'll get that 10% will fall into place just with empathy. It's what you've done the work to have the rest of it. to understand that a no is the first yes you're going to hear. A no is where the conversation starts. So I commend you on that. I know I was tough on you, but you're doing things mostly right. You just have a little bit of tweaking to do.
And Randy,
again, go ahead, Jim.
No, I started to say, I know you have been on the Facebook group. You've been looking for a reliable role play partner for a couple weeks, and I think you said you had a few people flake out on you. So if anybody on the call thinks that they are even close to Randy's level and they are dependable to show up for a role play, what's the best way to contact you? You want to give out your email? Let them contact you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll give out all my contact information. I mean, it's all public. I'm a real estate agent. It's out there anyway.
Sure.
My email is randysellslv@gmail. RANDYS, like Sam, ELLSLV@gmail.com. My cell phone number is 702-239-8400. And thank you, Jim, for giving me this platform to find a role play partner. And what I'm looking for is anyone, whatever level, you can, I'm sure there's someone, we can all learn from each other, but what I'm looking for is just someone who at least has 1 year of phone prospecting experience, so we're not kind of starting over with how to make a phone call. That would really be helpful. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for participating. And we have one more person in the queue. We'll probably go a few minutes over. You're very welcome. Thank you, Randy. Last up this week is phone number ending in 4361. You're up last.
Oh, you guys are terrific.
Thank you.
I went to mastermind training in November.
Yes, sir.
I've been in and out of the hospital. I've been paying for my leads. And I'm getting to work them, but I have a couple of psychological issues. I guess it's not role play, but I think it would be helpful for role play. And that is, I have made contact with a number of people. For example, I called an insurance guy, and I called an estate guy, and trying to build this mastermind, or trying to build this probate group. So typically what I have been saying to them is, hey, I want to, this is what I'm doing.
You there, Tim? You're breaking up. You there? Chad, can you hear him?
No, it's in and out at best.
Hey, Tim, I'm sorry. You're breaking up really bad. Send it. How do you want him to? Are you there now, Tim? No, we can't hear you at all. I think what he's asking, Chad, is putting his initial team together. The best way to do that. And I know there's places you can send them.
Well, it sounded like he obviously in Mastery we covered, which team members you can have and how, and 2 or 3 ways to find each one. What I think he was about to ask is what's the better approach when you're meeting with these people. So just so we can lay this down on the recording, he can come back and reference it. I'm pretty certain that's where he was headed with his question. So he was saying, when I talk to these people, they respond, and then we kind of lost you, Tim. So the idea is to approach, anytime you're going to add somebody to your team, the idea is to approach them and ideally open with value. So if you can give them a referral, that makes them perk up, right? They're paying attention. And that's why you hear me say things like, even when a sophisticated family has dealt with everything, find out, did they set up a living trust? Have they reinvested their inheritance distributions? If not, that's a great opportunity to create a referral and then go find the registered investment advisor to give it to. Go find an estate planning attorney to give that business to. So anytime you can open the relationship with value, it's a much more natural conversation. Like, hey, I've got this family that just went through probate. They see the value in setting up a living trust. I've spoken to them about it briefly. I'm looking for an estate planning attorney that I can trust, because I set the standard of service they're used to by working with my team is that we always do what we say. And I try to set an expectation that when somebody is ready to set up an estate plan and have that hard conversation, I realize how tough that is to get people to that point. And I'm sure you can appreciate that as an estate planning attorney, how many people put their head in the sand. So the only expectation for me is really that when I tell them you'll call in the next 24 hours, that you can do that. And I'm just trying to find the right partner. I will say that I found the wrong ones, but I've heard good things about you. I see that you're doing a lot of probates in the community, so I thought this might be a good place to send my referrals. Have you got 5 minutes? And that's just one example for an estate planning attorney, but show them, like, and what that shows him is that not only am I talking to families in probate who is a family he's not allowed to directly market to because of solicitation laws, I'm talking to them at a level I understand what he can do and the value he can bring to a family. I understand the challenge, that one of the biggest challenges in his business is getting people to think about or plan for their own demise. It's damn near impossible. That's why only 5% of Americans have a living trust, because people would rather have their family suffer the consequences of no planning than think about their own death and put a plan in place. So I'm showing off a little bit that I understand your industry. I understand mine even better. I'm looking for a partner that can have a standard of service equal to mine or better, and that I can trust with my reputation. They will appreciate the heck out of that. And it's no different for anyone else, whether it's a landscaper, a home stager. Just show them how you're looking to create a mutually beneficial referral relationship. And naturally, they're going to ask them, what is it that you do? You said you help families in probate. What do you do? And then when they do that, you've got engagement, and you can tell them your whole business model. I think where you might be getting tripped up is before you have engagement, you're trying to tell them your whole business model. And I would say focus on finding a way to provide value to them on the front end until you have rapport and engagement, and then wait for them to ask you what you do, and then you can talk all day about what it is you do to help and why you're going to be a great partner. But I think that's where you're headed with that, hopefully so. If not, send an email to support@alltheleads.com and just say got caught off on role play call, and one of us will reach out to help you.
Awesome. Guys, another great call. Chad, great job. I want to end this call like I always do. I want to thank each of you for being here. I want to particularly thank those who actively participated. And I challenge each of you, take one thought, one idea, one thing that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice, and come back and share your results with us. And remember, we have a call tomorrow. Our regular mastermind call is 1 o'clock Eastern. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you being here. Make it a great day, and we will talk to you soon.